What's that like to be able to pay off your house?
Netflix made Squid Games and it's facing possible lawsuits. If you don't know, the original Squid Games is basically a lot of desperate people competing for a huge prize that can change their lives. Winner takes it all. And it is life or death, of course. Although the reality version of Squid Games isn't a matter of life and death as it is in the original show, there is still a lot on the line, as 456 players compete to win $4.56 million.
What's that like to be able to pay off your car? I know these may be simple dreams, but what's that like?
After the success of the original show on Netflix, they used the opportunity to make more money and make the same theme the reality. But Contestants started talking now, and possible lawsuits are allegedly coming, which I personally doubt will be possible, since they have must signed a bulletproof contract without reading it, of course.
Welcome to the club.
What actually happened there? The potential lawsuit appears to be connected to the Squid Game called Green Light, Red Light.
Red light, red light, red.
A race was featured in the original South Korean show. In the game, players run toward the finish line while singing Doll Faces the Wall, but must remain completely still when her head turns around, with any sign of movement leading to instant elimination.
Squid Games, let's get real, let's sink these ships.
But after taking a look at the videos, you can see everybody's having their hands in the pockets.
I was a contestant on Netflix's Squid Game The Challenge. First, it was freezing cold in the airship hangar that we were playing in. People were blue in the face, we were all shivering, which made it even harder to stand still. And as you can see in the show, many of us are running with our hands in our pockets so that we can stay warm.
But of course, Netflix didn't mention contestants were in a freezing cold temperatures, and all of that leading to people allegedly getting hypothermia and nerve damage from being in stressful positions for hours and hours on end, which was also not mentioned.
Because there were 456 of us whose movements had to be reviewed and judged, each round took forever to complete. We're talking at least 15 minutes of standing completely still and holding a position in the freezing cold over and over and over again. And I personally played that game for 7.5 hours.
The studio SEO Lambert said everybody was warned that it was going to be cold. We took all the necessary steps to prepare them for that. I suppose SEO is talking about them not being allowed to zip up their hoodies, by the way. If you watch the show, you will see they didn't zip up their hoodies, of course, because they have the exploding device on the chest. So there is no surprise when we see that people are having their hands in the pockets. It's for a reason. Netflix also responded to allegations by saying 3 people did receive medical treatment during the game, but also said claims of serious injury are untrue. So maybe having hypothermia and nerve damage isn't actually a serious injury. We don't know.
Their injury, not her.
Don't get me wrong, the price is really high, standing at $4.5 million, and the games shouldn't be easy and just giving away that kind of money for nothing. But where is the line between games and torture? People blamed Mr. Beast for being evil and exploiting people for content. I don't see anyone judging Netflix and the conditions these people were in. And let's not forget that Mr. Beast was the first to make Squid Games in real life, so who knows where Netflix got the idea at this point. On the Netflix show The Game Green Light, Red Light game, the clock started ticking away 5 minutes. And of course, it's shown in the final edit as if it lasted shorter than 7 hours.
Squid Games The Challenge, contestants had to play red light, green light, just like the real show. We see a timer count down from 5 minutes. And that makes us viewers think that the game was 5 minutes long. It turns out the game was actually 7 hours long.
And I think viewers would actually appreciate contestants more if they knew or had actual timers showing how long the game actually is and what the conditions are, like the temperature. And they even made an editing joke on a lady that ended up in a squat position on this challenge. Made it like she fell in a minute.
For one, I want to talk about this girl who was squatting, and Netflix did her dirty not once but twice. In the final cut, they made it look like she was like there for a few seconds and then decided to throw in the towel. And you guys, let me tell you, that was absolutely not the case. Personally, I couldn't see her. I was too far ahead of her. But in the hotel talking after everybody got kicked out, the people behind her said that she had held that squat for anywhere from a minimum of 30 minutes to upwards of 45 minutes. Keep in mind, we're in an old shutdown like World War II hangar and it's 26 degrees in there, you guys. It was freezing and she was squatted for over 30 minutes. In the show, the final cut, they made it look like she was like there for like 5 or 10 seconds and decided to give up.
Now here is the final edit of the girl falling. And if you look at the clock, it appears as she gave up really fast. So I understand they're using the power of editing to make it more interesting, but this is basically attacking one person and making fun of her, of course. And internet being internet, everybody started commenting they would last longer, even though the actual truth is a bit different, of course. And the fact she lost chance to win $4.56 million.
Few minutes. We're talking at least 15 minutes, and in many rounds, much longer than that. And I sat next to her on the bus ride back from the game, and she was beating herself up so much over it, so please, try not to judge her too harshly for it.
And after doing something like that, Netflix didn't stop. They continued the passive-aggressive approach to this lady. They did something even worse.
So they did her dirty not once. The second time, they memed her on their Instagram. They put, "How long would you hold a squat for $4.5 million?" as if she just like gave up on the thing.
I mean, for $4.5 million, I would squat until I shit my pants, of course.
LOL.
And of course I'm joking, because I wouldn't last 30 seconds.
I wouldn't last 30 seconds in Gen Pop.
But it would be 10 times more interesting for people to know how long they were in those positions, right?
Really? That's interesting.
Now, if you think you can be a regular person and join the Squid Games reality show, I think you're wrong. After going over social media, we can see most of the contestants are actually mostly influencers.
Guys, I got shoved into the Squid Games and I don't know why I signed up to these things.
Terrifying.
I snuck a phone onto the set of Squid Game The Challenge. Here's everything they didn't want you to see.
No one's taken my phone off me yet.
And it's really interesting to see they usually know each other.
Will you be on my team? Recognize him?
So it seems as though Netflix basically said to themselves, let's put influencers in the show, since no one knows all of them, and it will boost the show. I personally don't like that approach, since it is basically showing a distorted image of society. I can't say it's not fun to see them struggling when they get head to head with people like them.
People I met were the coolest people in the world.
Coolest people in the world? Why? Because they're influencers just like you?
Yes, just like me.
No, that's not all. They all said the dorm was bad as well.
Yes, red light, green light was awful. You've probably seen loads of the contestants on talking about how bad it was. All the rest of the games were just as bad. The dorm was bad. We were all starving.
And that they were starving, which we could see when they brought up burgers and everyone started acting like animals.
Full burger.
She ran away with it.
I took that big fat juicy burger and I was feeling great.
Now tell me, what do you think about the lawsuits? Should they really take it to court, since it was cold and really a bit of a torture? Or they should suck it up and just go on with their life and be more like this guy?
These people threatening lawsuits and stuff like this is nonsense. I knew what I was getting myself in for. I knew it wasn't going to be a walk in the park. Now, granted, I didn't know how hard red light, green light was going to be. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But I did it. I didn't care what they threw at me, okay? I did red light, green light, I finished second. I did the umbrella, knocked it out of the park. I'm gonna carry the boats. I'm gonna carry the logs, okay?
Okay, I stand corrected. Please don't be cocky as this guy.